Yo, 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 welcome back to another edition of the Coach's Corner. How you doing? It's been quite a while. I'm your host, Hector Cervantes, and joined today by Coltin Lash. Coltin, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing today?
Doing good. How did the holidays treat you, bro?
Fantastic holidays. Ate some good food, watched some good sports, and happy to be back. How about yourself?
Well, I gotta say I put on some pounds, like 5 pounds or something. You know,
Yeah. Is that beer weight or food weight?
Food, mostly tamales. You know what I'm saying? It was worth it though. It was really good. Yeah.
All right.
So tell us, who do we have on the show today, bro?
So today we're going to kick things off with some tennis talk, and we're going to talk with head coach Josh Graetz. And then we'll hit the track and bring on head coach Janis Christopher. Her indoor track and field team is off and running in their spring season. And sticking with the indoor team, we'll invite Nik Polite on to get to know the senior sprinter from California. He's had a great indoor season so far.
Yeah, he looks like a really nice guy too. Let me tell you about that.
Yeah.
All right, but before we get into it, let's catch the audience on what happened and took place on the Roadrunners sports this past weekend.
Awesome.
The men's basketball team took their 2-game winning streak on the road and made it 3 straight after defeating CSU Pueblo 65-61 on Friday night. Drews Asa scored 21 first half points to give his team a 15-point lead at the break. The Thunderwolves performed back to get it within 1, but MSU Denver hit their 3 throws late to secure the 4-point win. Coach Ball squad would fall the following night to New Mexico Highlands.
The women's team were also battling it out on the road. After taking down CSC Pueblo on a Friday night, Coach Jave's team made it to 2 straight wins after taking down the New Mexico Highlands on Saturday. 11 different Roadrunners scored, including 14 from Bree Wellington and 11 from Morgan Lewis. The weekend sweep moved MSU Denver to 7th place in the RMAC standings, and that's important because the top 8 get spots in the postseason.
It was a great weekend for the indoor track and field team. The Roadrunners had 6 first-place finish at the Chadron State Open in Chadron, Nebraska. The men's 4x400 relay team led the way, finishing first and improving on their incredible time. Brandon Bodner, who is on the 4x400 relay team, also finished first in the 800 meters. Said Moreno, who is also on the relay team, would cross the line first in the 400-meter dash and seconds in the 200. Sabrina Ratter finished first in the 800-meter for the women. Visit roadrunnersathletics.com for all the results from the meet. And now joining us today is head coach for both the men's and women's tennis team. Coach, how are you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Let me mention your name because I didn't mention your name. Josh Graetz.
Thanks, Fab.
Howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
Oh, so Coach, it's been quite a while actually since last year, since we actually talked to you. It was back in October, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, so tell us, what have you been working on in this time, you know? Do you rely a lot on your team since, you know what I'm saying, it's been quite a break since then?
Right, yeah. I mean, fall season ended for us kind of early October, so it's been a pretty extended break for the men and women. Obviously excited to get back after it, this spring, and the schedule this year really allowed us to get some matches in really early, which I think will help us down the stretch.
And those are exhibition matches too, right?
Right, yeah. So we've got the men have 3 exhibition matches. We played 2 of them over the weekend against Air Force and Southern Utah, and then we've got 1 more on Friday against DU, and then our women play 1 exhibition match against Air Force on Sunday. So a lot of matches that we haven't had in other years, and I think that it can only really help, honestly.
So, Coach, a few questions for you here. When did you get the squad back to start having regular practices again? And what are some things that you're working with your players more than anything? Is it just reps, cardio?
Yeah, so practice started up January 10th. So, all the players flew back in. Most of my players are international, so they all flew in kind of the 8th or the 9th of January and pretty much, got straight back into, competition. And something we've really been working on this spring is trying to shorten the points a little bit, working on 0 to 4 shots. Tennis is really all about the serve return, and if we can shorten the points and we can really work on those 2 shots, I think it's going to hold us in good stead. Especially a lot of the matches right now are indoors, so the ball's traveling a little bit faster. so we can really work on the specifics of serve return.
Cool. So now let's talk about a little bit about the women's squad, as they haven't had an actual exhibition match, right? It's just the men's.
Right.
And so how do you think, based on practice, how do you think they're performing? You have a few returners and a few new faces. How do you think they're looking?
Yeah, so we've got 4 returners. 3 of them are actually seniors, so we do have a pretty experienced squad this year. And then we've got 2 freshmen and 1 transfer. So I think we have a good balance this year. Team chemistry is great this year. Really excited about that. All the girls are living together, they're working together, they're in classes together. So I really do think we have a family set this year on the women's side. And I think, that's really important. So excited for what they can do, excited, obviously to see how we do against Air Force. Air Force women are a very, very strong program. I'd like to get those matches in as soon as possible. So, we'll see how we go. I mean, I told the women that there's no real pressure. I mean, it's an exhibition. Let's go out, let's have fun, and let's compete hard.
So hard to imagine that Tabby Porter is a senior now. Going from touching on her fall season to her spring season, what are some expectations that you have for her coming up?
No real expectations, honestly, with Tabby. I mean, Tabby's going to go out there and give 100%. So she doesn't really need that person in her ear pushing her. She's going to push herself. So honestly, she's training hard. The results are going to take care of themselves. I think Brooklyn's been a really good addition to the lineup, to where those two push each other constantly in practice, and I think that's only going to make us better. It is nice having someone else there that can, a lot of the times actually beat Tabby, and I don't think Tabby's necessarily had that in the program in previous years. So, I'm excited for that competition on the women's side, and I think we're a little bit deeper than what we have been in previous years.
So aside from Tabby, who else should we keep a close eye on the women's side this year?
I would keep an eye on Gala Castillo. She's a freshman from North Greenville University. She played 1 there for a year. She's an extremely talented player from Barcelona, Spain. She's playing at a high level right now. But honestly, I mean, every girl on the team right now, I think, are playing at a high level. So it's hard for me to just single out one person. But I think she's playing well.
All right, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Now from the men's team, familiar name is Alejandro Martinez Morilla, who's actually a returner senior, 4 years now with the team. How is he looking? Do you think he's ready to take it to the next step this spring? And if so, what is that next step?
Yeah, no, Ale's team captain this year and kind of the spiritual leader. Very vocal out there, and we need that type of guy that can call people out if he needs to, and he says it how he sees it, which I think is important on any team, to have someone like that. Probably didn't have the results that he wanted this weekend in the Air Force 2 matches that we played at Air Force, but he's the type of guy that's going to bounce back from adversity, and him and Geordie played some good doubles, and I think that the great thing about our guys team is it really isn't up to our top 2 guys. We have a deep team that I think can really help us.
Now, also going on the footsteps of my friend over here, who should we keep an eye on the men's team?
Well, outside of Ale, probably the 2 redshirt freshmen. I'm really excited about those guys this year. Unfortunately, they couldn't compete for me. Probably have a little bit of a soft spot for Australians as well. Excited for what they can do. They had a big win for us at #1 doubles over the weekend, and they're the type of guys too that are going to help us a lot, in the lower parts of the lineup, and win a lot of matches for us.
So let's talk about your matches this past weekend. Your men's team took on a couple Division I opponents in Air Force and Southern Utah. Why schedule such tough competition at this point of the season?
Why not? I mean, honestly, let's we're going to try and play as good a teams as possible. Honestly, things go a little different on the weekend. We probably come out at least winning one of those matches. We started off a little tight against Air Force, honestly. Air Force conditions are tough. It's a fast surface up there. It's 7,500 feet, so much higher than here. And they're a good team, Air Force. They play fast tennis, and they try and make it difficult for their opponents. So I think we settled into the first match, but doubles was pretty poor, honestly. But moving into singles, I think we really settled down, and we were right there in pretty much all the matches. Southern Utah match, I think that was a bit of a different story. We started really strong. We took the doubles point, and I think that moved into singles play, and we probably just didn't quite have the experience towards the end.
Gotcha.
Awesome. So what's next for the men's team, and when can we expect to see some women's action?
Yeah, so our men play this Friday against DU, another exhibition over at Denver Tennis Park, and then our women will play the first exhibition match against Air Force. So excited for them to get out there and compete as well.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, Coach, sounds like you have a great starting spring. 2020 looking good for you.
Yeah.
I want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. So now it's time to bring you guys the tweet of the week. We know you've been waiting for it, so here it comes. It comes from our softball team at Roadrunners SB. They're giving a big shout out to Dr. Martin Luther King as we celebrate the man who pioneered the civil rights movement. The quote simply states that faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the full staircase. Words we all should live by to make a difference in our lives and for others as well. Well, it's time for our first break, so stay tuned as we're coming with some track and field up next in the Coach's Corner.
Hey, Bree Wellington, senior from women's basketball.
Down the floor, Wellington, all alone, got it.
And you're watching Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back, and before we talk with Coach Christopher, we want to remind you that you can host your next big event in the Tivoli Tap House. Whether you have the next meeting coming up, or you just want to plan a big get-together with co-workers or friends, you can do so right here at Tivoli Tap House. We have great view of downtown Denver. You have also great selection of beer and wine that are made right here on site. So visit TivoliBrewingCo.com for more information on how to schedule your next big event right here in the middle of downtown Denver. So now we welcome in head coach for track and field, Janis. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you guys?
Good.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So last time we met was actually last year too, in December, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Is that correct? Okay. Just making sure, you know what I'm saying. Okay. So how you been preparing for your indoor season? It's been quite a break from then.
Right. So the athletes are on their own for about a month, so it's really up to them to prepare. We give them suggested workouts, and then they're expected to actually go out and do those things. I would say that they did a great job this year of doing that, going out and preparing themselves so that when we came back and we started practice, they were ready to pick up where we left off, run a little bit faster, and get right into the meets.
Yeah, so it must be hard now to actually trust them, you know what I'm saying? Because for me, I was kind of like, I don't really get something, so it was really hard, you know what I'm saying? Oh.
It's definitely, yes, it's definitely not always easy to trust them, but honestly, this year, this is the team that probably did the best of all the teams that I've worked with in the last, 20 plus years. So I told them all how great it was to see that they actually went out and did that. And, mostly it's helping them understand that it's going to help them when they come back, and instilling that sense of urgency inside of them so that they know that they have to get it done. So really, really not always easy, but definitely pays off whenever they do.
Well, amazing credits to them,
Yeah.
So far, we've seen some pretty incredible performances from your squad this season, Coach. Saeed Moreno has come out and run well in the 200, the 400, and the 4x400 relays. Can you just tell us a little bit about him and what you've seen from him so far?
Sure, yeah. Saeed is in his last year of eligibility. He redshirted last year, and so although he competed as an unattached athlete, he didn't get to compete for the team. We've had a goal for him since he was a freshman to give it give it a chance to qualify for a national title. So we've worked for 5 years to build a team around Saeed to be able to do that. So I think he saw that we finally have that, and he feels the urgency of that situation. And so, really he's just gone about his business for the last 2 years, preparing himself to be able to go out and run. So he does what we ask. He does it at a very high level, and those things, after 5 years of progression, those things turn into some amazing performances. So that's where he is. He's just a really responsible young man that knows what's at stake and is willing to work hard to get what he wants.
Mm-hmm. So sticking with Prince, we have Nik Polite up next after you. Can you tell us a little bit about him, how you found him, and how he's looking?
So Nik found us.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
He was at a school in Iowa, and he had heard from, I think you can ask him, but I believe from some soccer players at that college that were from the Denver area, and he was looking for some place. He just wasn't. Iowa was not a good fit for him. So he wanted something different, and so he called me and asked, do you think I could transfer? And so after talking to him on the phone, I felt like he'd be a good fit for the team, and so we brought him here.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's amazing. So how tough of a sport you could say it's running on itself? Athletes must prepare themselves, get physically and mentally ready for that. How tough do you think it is for them?
It's very difficult. Having done it myself, a lot of it is mental, and believing that the training is going to get you where you need to go, to believe that everything that you're doing, all of the cold mornings and so forth are worth it, that when you get to May, end of April, early May, and you get to the conference championships, that all that hard work is going to pay off. You're going to qualify for the championship. So, every day is different. Today was a rough day. Today was the day before school starts, and it was cold outside. And so mentally, today was a little bit tougher, I think, for us than some days we've had recently, but definitely not an easy process to prepare. It hurts. It hurts, and you have to believe, really, really believe that going through that pain is going to get you where you want to go.
So how much does competition within the team just help improving the times? Like, to have Moreno, Polite, and even Michael DK battling it out in practice, it must do wonders for their confidence to just push each other like that, right?
Sure. I mean, Nik can attest to this too. They really do work well together, and while there is some competition, I mean, a lot of it is just holding each other accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when they go into the summers, they are definitely helping each other stay focused. So the camaraderie that brings, like, suffering together, I guess, and encouraging one another to keep going. I think it has done some amazing things for our team. I think that is exactly why you see those performances all sort of grouped together, where everybody's hitting on all cylinders and moving forward together, because nobody wants to get left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is there anyone who has stood out so far in the team that has catched your eye?
So many great performances. I mean, I think you've mentioned the big ones. You've mentioned Nik, and Michael just got started last weekend. Saeed is definitely somebody that is outperforming. Even where I thought he might be at this time of the year. So they all did such a great job over the break. Super proud of how they came back and that they were ready to get going. I think Javion Lattimore, you'll see on the women's side, is definitely somebody to watch. She's getting stronger every day and starting to believe in herself. And so I think we'll see her do some great things at the conference level.
That's great. That's amazing. So, Coach, we're actually going to have you answer some Roadrunner trivia.
Okay.
Hope you came already, you know what I'm saying?
Never prepare for this. I should, though.
Yeah, well, Jenny Glenn is actually sitting on top, so we're going to give you multiple chances to get up there.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's how it's going to work. We've talked a lot about sprints on the show, especially on the men's side. So we're going to ask you who holds the program record on each sprint, and all you have to give us is the person. All right?
Okay.
Yeah. So you only get one guess per.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay,
Yep.
gotcha. So the 55 meter.
Is it John Clark?
No.
No.
All right.
Somebody from the 80s. I don't know those names.
Okay. Derek Forening.
Okay. Yep.
All right. What about the 55-meter hurdles?
Darius Reed?
Yep, in 2012, correct.
The 60 meters.
That's John Clark.
Oh, that's correct.
60-meter hurdles,
Darius Reed again.
correct.
200 meter.
John Clark.
That's right.
300-meter.
Phil Hill.
It was John Clark.
Oh, was it John?
Yeah, again.
Phil had the 500 before Saeed broke it. Sorry.
Oh,
Yep.
you're
yep.
good.
Yeah.
400 meter.
400 meter is held by somebody from the 80s, and I don't recall his name. Edwards, maybe something. Edwards?
Travis Mecklin. So
I
that
know
counts?
I know it's
Okay,
an
that
old,
counts, yeah.
I know it's an old record because Michael wants it really, really, really bad.
All right, Coach.
I did.
500-meter.
500 meter Sight Moreno. He just broke it.
Okay.
That is right. I know because we wrote an article about it. Yeah, yes. Yep, we did not update it.
So that's 6 correct. Oh my God, that's crazy. That's really good.
Good
That puts you
job.
up there.
At least you asked me about the sprints and not the distances. I don't know if I would have known the answers to those.
Well, Coach, that's gonna be it. We want to thank you so much for hanging out with
Sure,
us, and we
thank
want to
you.
wish you the best of luck
Thank
going
you.
forward.
Appreciate it. I'll
Thanks,
see you guys
Coach.
soon.
Yeah. So we have one last break to go through, but stay tuned as we're gonna bring Nik up next in the Coach's Corner.
Let's go.
Watch out and in! The Roadrunners have responded. Kendall McIntosh throwing it down.
Be sure to download the Roadrunner Rewards app and check in at events to earn points toward great prizes. The more events you attend, the more points you earn, and the better the prizes you win. Download the Roadrunner Rewards app to start earning points today.
Hi, I'm Leia Harvey. I'm a senior from the women's basketball team. And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Let's try that again. And you're watching the... Okay, one more time. And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Yo, welcome back. Now we have Nik Polite. I forgot your last name. Oh, man. So you're a senior already, and how does that feel, man?
It feels it went by fast, but I'm redshirting outdoors, so I'll have next year too. So I'll be back.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
Mhm.
So we're actually never seen you on sit-up for cross-country events. Is that sport a little too long for you?
Yeah, way too long. The 400 meters is like the limit. That's the limit for me, you know. So.
Oh man.
So, Nik, for those who don't know you, you mostly compete in the shorter sprints like the 60-meter, 200, and 400. What got you into these as opposed to like the longer events, like the mile, stuff like that?
First of all, it's way too long, you know. I just like to get it done quick. So, but it all started in like high school, you know, running, and I was like, this is the best event for me. So.
Got you. Well, so what got you into sprinting in the first place? You know, what was it? You know what I'm saying?
So I actually started playing football first, and then I got to high school, and I met these two dudes that ran track. One runs for University of Florida now, and the other one runs for Campbell University. They're both Division I's. And they were telling me about track. They were my friends, and I was like, track is easy. So they were like, come out then. So I came out one day. It was crazy. But I mean, I talked to them still to this day, and I'm just like, thank you. Like, it's great. I love track.
You're like, open the door for me. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So you also played football in high school. Did you ever think about playing football in college, or what kind of steered you more towards track?
That's a good question. So I wanted to play in the college, but I was thinking, like, I've been looking at, like, all of these articles about, like, CTE and all these brain injuries, and I was like, no, I can't do that. But, like, football is, like, a big background in my family. My dad, he played at Sacramento City College, and then his brother, my uncle, was, like, a really notable recruit. He went to Oregon, and he was, like, a big timer there as a cornerback, and then he played in the NFL for a year. So
yeah, that's cool, and I totally understand the brain impairment from football. It's a serious thing.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to get hurt.
At all.
Oh man! So you spend a lot of time on your, let's say, back days. You know what I'm saying? You spend it on Florida and Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
What made you decide to go back to get to Colorado? You know what I'm saying?
It was spontaneous. But so I met these two dudes that are actually from Colorado. They're from Denver, and they were playing soccer. So they were telling me they didn't like Iowa either, and they wanted to transfer after their first year. So I was talking to them. We were pretty good friends, and they were telling me about Metro. So then I messaged Janis. I was like, why not? Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
I talked to my coach, of course, before, and he tried to keep me.
Of course. Like, don't go, man.
Yeah.
We need you.
But I mean, the process went well. Scott Groom, he was the AD. He helped me with the process, and it worked pretty well. So I came up here for a visit with my grandpa in the summer, and it was pretty nice. So I was like, let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
And Janis, I was lucky enough to get on the team. So
yeah. So talk to us about Janis. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, tell us.
So I mean, practice has been pretty well. She hasn't been too hard on us yet, for me at least. Like, so she's like working with Jamal. He's assistant strength and conditioning coach, and he also helps with sprinters. So they like help create the workouts and stuff like that. They meet up once a week, which is really helping with my progress.
Yeah, you like the workouts?
Yeah, they're not too long for me. I mean, they're hard, but they're nothing that I can't do. So.
Gotcha.
I assume there's a little bit more going on in Colorado than Iowa, huh?
Yeah, a lot. So much.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get used to the altitude here, or were you already kind of adjusted?
Well, I've been living at like sea level my whole life in Florida. There's no mountains or anything like that. So once I got to Colorado, it was crazy. Like the first year, I would always be like, after every single rep in practice, I would be breathing hard, like, and everybody's like, "Just, are you okay? Do you need an inhaler?" And I'm just like, "No, just breathe hard." But it was definitely the altitude. It took me a while to get used to it, to be honest, like a year or two, I would say.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's long.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so let's not forget, actually, you're a student too, you know what I'm saying? Tell us what you're studying.
Okay, so I'm an exercise science major with a minor in pre-healthcare.
Okay, and what are you planning to do with that?
So I'm looking into occupational therapy.
Okay,
so.
So can you, like, help me out, you know?
If you get injured, I got you.
Okay.
So we saw your story on RoadrunnersAthletics.com about your pursuit to get under 7 seconds in the 60. For those who didn't see it, what made the difference, and how much pride do you take once you saw that you came in under 7 seconds in Boulder, man?
Well, it was so hard. Like, my sophomore year, I went 7:04, so I was like, okay, we're going to break 7, I didn't break it for the rest of the 7:04 was my best time, and I ran that at Boulder, actually. So then that was in February, so then I never broke the 7:04. And then I went into my junior year, and I was like, okay, I got this. Didn't break 7:04. Or didn't break 7, so it was like my senior year. I'm coming into it, and then Michael DK, teammate of mine and roommate, he was like, "You got this year." So we kept going at it, and it finally happened. And now that it happened, it's just like, wow, it's great. Like I feel like I can go even faster.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Push yourself to the limit.
Yeah, definitely.
110%, bro.
Yeah, 20%.
Look at this. Yeah. Oh my, bro, it was great having you on.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. It was great. Hey, we want to wish you the best of luck, bro.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Yep, just getting started.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so before we take, actually not taking a break anymore. We're gonna cut it off. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna tell you what's gonna happen on this weekend with Roadrunner Sports. Our basketball team will remain on the road this week. They'll first venture to Golden to take on the Colorado School of Mines. The women's game will tip off at 6 p.m. and the men will get going at around 8. Then it's into Colorado Springs on Saturday night to face off against UC Colorado Springs. Those start time are 5:30 for the women and 7:30 for the men. You can follow the team and find the video links at roadrunnersathletics.com.
The men's tennis team will be back in action this Friday as they'll host the University of Denver. That will be an exhibition match starting at 11 a.m. and will take place at the Regency Athletic Complex. The women's tennis team will see their first action of the spring semester battling the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. We want to wish Coach Graetz and his squad the best of luck this weekend.
One last note, Brandon Budner is the Week Student Athlete of the Week. The junior had a stellar performance at the Chadron State Open this past weekend. Brandon finished first on the men's 800-meter race and was a part of the 4x400 relay team, who also came in first place. Hey, amazing job, Brandon. That's
Brandon,
great.
okay.
Yeah, that's great, bro. All right, so that's gonna be it for this weekend, this week's Coach's Corner. We want to thank Coach Graetz and Christopher and also Nik for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Yeah. For Coltin Lash, I'm Hector Cervantes. See you next time. Peace.